In April, Metallica kicks off their M72 World Tour in support of the new album, 72 Seasons. In each city on the tour, they'll be playing 2 nights, and most excitingly, we'll be playing a completely different set each night. I feel like this creates an opportunity for fans to hear some songs they haven't heard in a while, or possibly ever. Based on having seen Metallica live dozens of times, as well as extensive research into past set lists, I think I have a pretty good idea of what songs we can expect to see at each of these shows. Once you've seen my predictions, jump into the comments and let me know what songs you expect to, or even just hope to, hear on the M72 tour. Okay, let's get to the predictions. Right off the bat, I'm leaning on a tendency that Metallica has when putting together their set lists. On both the World Magnetic and World Wired tours, Metallica opened their shows with the first 2 songs off of the new album that they were supporting. I anticipate them following that pattern and opening with 72 Seasons and Shadows Follow. This is a bit of a risky prediction since I haven't heard either of these songs and I don't even know if they're conducive to being live set openers. For Whom the Bell Tolls in the 3rd slot is the perfect early set song to pull in the fans that aren't yet familiar with the songs from 72 Seasons. The 4th or 5th song in the set is generally something slightly more down-tempo and, in this case, I'm predicting Sanitarium as the 4th song. Sad But True at song number 5 is the first of many songs from the Black Album that you'll be hearing across the 2 shows. Fuel is next, which provides an opportunity for some pyrotechnics, followed by the 4 Horsemen. Generally, Metallica likes to play 4 or more songs from a new album when they first tour in support of that release. However, that was typically for indoor arena shows. Because M72 is a stadium tour, which typically attracts a more diverse audience, I suspect that they'll prioritize the back catalog. Which means Screaming Suicide in slot 8 will be the final song from 72 Seasons that you'll hear on night 1. To start the second half of the set, we have Fade to Black, another ballad, or at least Metallica's version of a ballad, which provides another tempo change. Wherever I May Roam is another Black Album song which always goes over well in a stadium setting. Moth into Flame is the only song from Hardwired to Self-Destruct that you'll hear on night 1, and I'm actually a little skeptical that they'll play that. For the past 20 years, whenever a new album has been released, the tour that immediately follows is pretty much focused on that album and the first 5 albums of Metallica's career. Turn the Page is a wild card. There's usually 1 or 2 slots in the set list which they rotate songs in and out of during the tour, and I think that they might use one of those slots for covers on this tour. I'll admit this one is a shot in the dark. The final 4 songs of night 1 are all certified Metallica classics. One makes sense as the next song because of the way Turn the Page fades out at the end, providing the opportunity for the stage to go dark and the taped intro for one to be played. After a short false end to the set, the final 3 songs make up the encore. There's not much elaboration needed for any of these songs, except to say that Seek and Destroy worked really well as the set closer on the World Magnetic Tour, and I think they go back to that. For night 2, things get a little more complicated. Because of the no repeats rule, my theory about opening with the first 2 songs off of 72 Seasons goes out the window. Creeping Death is always a killer show opener, and I feel like that's the route they'll go for the second show. Lux Æterna will be played second, mostly because I don't think it's the type of song you can open a show with, but I might get proven wrong on that. The 2 shows with a 32 different song format lets the band break out some songs that they haven't played regularly in the set in the recent past. I think Harvester of Sorrow is one of those songs. And, like night 1, slot 4 is a more mellow song, in this case, The Unforgiven. Battery, which usually has a pre-recorded intro, fits perfectly after The Unforgiven as the stage goes dark to allow the crew to remove James' acoustic guitar. The Memory Remains, like Fuel on night 1, seems like a logical song to represent the load-reload era based on past tours. Bleeding Me, however, is more a case of wishful thinking on my part. Sleepwalk My Life Away is a complete guess as to what other songs from the new album will be played live, being that we haven't heard the majority of 72 Seasons. Along those same lines, Crown of Barbed Wire is just another shot in the dark at which of 72 Seasons songs they'll play. I grouped these 2 songs together because that's exactly what Metallica has done on recent tours supporting new albums. For example, on the World Magnetic Tour, you'd often see Broken, Beaten, and Scarred back-to-back with Cyanide in the middle of the set. Orion, along with Bleeding Me, are the 2 songs which I'm personally hoping the 32-song set format allows room for. My inclusion of Whiskey in the Jar follows the same logic as Turn the Page on night 1. Metallica loves to play covers, and Whiskey in the Jar goes over amazing in the live setting. Spit Out the Bone represents the only song from Hardwired to Self-Destruct on night 2. Like night 1, night 2 closes with 4 Metallica classics. In recent years, Ride the Lightning has usually been early in the set, but I think we might see it move to the back half for this tour. Hit the Lights is the only Kill 'Em All song on night 2, and I think it's a perfect song to return to the stage with for an encore. The combination of Nothing Else Matters, followed by Enter Sandman, is a tried and true way for Metallica to close out a show, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do to end the weekend. So those are my predictions. Post a comment and let me know what songs you expect to, or hope to, see on the M72 tour. And if you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. This is Kennedy for None More Metal, and I'll see you next time.